Space has always captivated the human imagination. For centuries, we've gazed at the night sky, dreaming of what lies beyond. The moon, our closest celestial neighbor, has been a constant source of fascination. Enter Apollo 11, the mission that turned that dream into reality. On July 20th, 1969, humans set foot on another world for the first time. Millions watched in awe as Neil Armstrong took his first steps on the lunar surface. His words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," echoed across the planet. Apollo 11 wasn't just a triumph of technology, it was a testament to human courage and ingenuity. The sight of Earth from the moon gave us a new perspective on our planet and our place in the universe. Apollo 11 remains a shining example of what we can achieve when we set our sights on the stars. The Apollo program was born out of the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy set an ambitious goal to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. NASA was tasked with making this dream a reality. They had less than a decade to solve countless technical challenges. The Apollo program involved hundreds of thousands of people. Each mission tested different aspects of the technology. Apollo 1 ended in tragedy, but NASA persevered. By July 1969, NASA was ready for Apollo 11. The mission would attempt to land humans on the moon. The eyes of the world were on the three astronauts. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins carried the hopes and dreams of millions. The stage was set for one of the greatest adventures in human history. On July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 lifted off from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The massive Saturn V rocket thundered into the sky, carrying the spacecraft and its three-man crew. Millions watched as the rocket climbed higher and higher. For 3 days, the spacecraft hurtled through space towards the moon. As they neared their destination, they separated the lunar module named Eagle from the command module, Columbia. Collins remained in Columbia, orbiting the moon, while Armstrong and Aldrin piloted Eagle towards the lunar surface. The descent to the moon was tense and dangerous. Armstrong had to manually pilot Eagle past a field of boulders with fuel running low. Finally, Armstrong's voice crackled over the radio. "Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed." A collective sigh of relief swept across Earth. Armstrong and Aldrin still had to walk on the moon and then return safely to Earth. Meanwhile, Collins orbited above, the loneliest man in the universe, waiting and hoping for their safe return. Humanity had achieved the impossible. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong opened the hatch of the lunar module. He carefully made his way down the ladder. The world watched in anticipation. Then, at 10:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Armstrong stepped onto the moon's surface. His famous words marked this incredible moment in history. Buzz Aldrin joined him about 20 minutes later. For about 2.5 hours, Armstrong and Aldrin explored the lunar surface. They collected rock samples, set up scientific instruments, and planted the American flag. The grainy black and white images were like nothing anyone had ever seen before. It was surreal to watch humans walking on another world. After completing their tasks, Armstrong and Aldrin returned to the lunar module to rest before the challenging task of launching back into lunar orbit. Meanwhile, Collins continued to orbit the moon in the command module, eagerly waiting to reunite with his crewmates. The most dangerous part of the mission was still to come, the return journey to Earth. Apollo 11 wasn't just about putting humans on the moon, it was also a scientific mission. The astronauts brought back 47.5 pounds of lunar rocks and soil samples, providing invaluable insights. Scientists are still studying them today, more than 50 years later. The mission also left behind scientific instruments, including a seismometer to measure moonquakes, and a reflector array for laser ranging experiments. Beyond the scientific achievements, Apollo 11 left an indelible mark on human culture. It inspired a generation to pursue careers in science and technology. The legacy of Apollo 11 continues to influence space exploration today.